Please pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any correspondence you have, Amber?
Yes. So we have a letter from the Shelter Island Association regarding accessory dwelling units and a letter from Joshua Greenwald regarding the moratorium.
We, on the agenda, had the supervisor's report, but that was not available this evening, so we will proceed to motions. Or resolutions, I mean.
Whereas Peter and Claire DeSanctis, 115 Southbury Road, have petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to remove and replace in place and plus or minus 6 inches higher, approximately 156 linear feet of existing concrete seawall with vinyl bulkhead, remove and replace in place, plus or minus 43 feet southerly concrete seawall return with vinyl return, install plus or minus 12 feet northerly return, and backfill with approximately 40 cubic yards of sand, clean sandy backfill to be trucked in from an approved upland source. Remove and replace in place plus or minus 4 feet by 3 feet section of existing timber dock catwalk and plus or minus 4 foot by 10 foot section of existing wood ramp to allow for reconstruction of bulkhead. And permanently remove 43 linear feet of timber bulkhead located off the existing seawall, all as depicted on the project plan prepared by Ian Consultants dated April 27th, 2023. Be it resolved that pursuant to section 53-9 of the town code of the town of Shelter Island, a public hearing will be held at 6:10 p.m. prevailing time on the 27th day of June, 2023 in the town hall of Shelter Island for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition to the proposed construction. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be it resolved that Jillian Carter is hereby appointed to serve as a traffic control officer for the year 2023 at a rate of $21 per hour, retroactive to May 25th, 2023. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Be it resolved that Araldo Castro and John Gilligan are hereby appointed to serve as traffic control officers for the year of 2023 at the rate of $20 per hour, retroactive to June 1st, 2023. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be resolved that Charles Kraus is hereby appointed to serve as an on-call, as-needed maintenance mechanic, 1, retroactive to December 1, 2022. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be it resolved that Harrison Westlick, Luca Martinez, Alex Burns, Andrea Napoles, Margaret Colby, and Finn Egan are hereby appointed to serve as lifeguards for the year of 2023 at a rate of $17 per hour. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Be it resolved that Cass Egan is hereby appointed to serve as a lifeguard for the year of 2023 at a rate of $18.50 per hour. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Be it resolved that Francis Regan is hereby appointed to serve as lifeguard for the year of 2023 at a rate of $18 per hour. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be resolved that Leonardo Doherty is hereby appointed to serve as a lifeguard for the year 2023 at the rate of $17.50 per hour. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be it resolved that Julia Weisenberg is hereby appointed to serve as assistant recreational leader for the year of 2023 at a rate of $20 per hour. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Be
Motion
it
passed.
I'm sorry. Be it resolved that Nell Lowell is hereby appointed to serve as a swim instructor for the year of 2023 at a rate of $30 per hour. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Be it resolved that Nell Lowell, Be it resolved that Judith Lekmansky is hereby provisionally appointed to serve as a sole assessor to be paid as per the 2023 budget. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be resolved that Coco Lee Thuman is hereby appointed to serve as provisional office assistant to the town clerk's office, retroactive to June 1st for a 6-month period as per the 2023 budget. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shelter Island does hereby approve the service award program list for 2022 volunteer ambulance workers of the Shelter Island Volunteer EMS And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to execute a certified copy of this resolution and forward to the EMS director with the certified list for the required posting. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Whereas Richard V. Holman has applied for a rebate from the town of Shelter Island under Chapter 88 of the Shelter Island Town Code to install a low nitrogen sanitary system for his property located at 3 Montclair Avenue, Shelter Island, New York. And whereas the Water Quality Improvement Advisory Board has reviewed the project and recommended a conditional rebate of up to $6,000 be awarded. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board hereby adopts the findings of the WQIAB and approves the application for a conditional rebate of up to $6,000 in eligible costs upon completion of the project and subject to the applicant's compliance with and completion of all terms and conditions of the conditional rebate agreement. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be given to the Water Quality Improvement Advisory Board and the Building Department. So moved.
Second, and discussion. I just wanted to, I forgot to mention this at the work session today. This got overlooked in the transition of changing of clerks last year. So the WQI actually discussed this last spring. So we just realized when we were going through the year end. So that's why that's on now. So in case anyone's wondering, especially the Homans, you're now approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Motion passed. Be it resolved that resolution number 152 from March 14th, 2023, stating the approval of specific budget transfers hereby is amended to read as follows. And we have half a page of budget transfers for 2022 that is available at the town clerk's office for those who wish to go through them line by line. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be resolved that the following 2023 budget transfers are hereby approved. There's only a few. $240 from A1010.496 to A1420.492. $1,505.97 from A1990.400 to A1355.484. And $5,000 from A1410.110 summer intern to A1410.106 office assistant. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be it resolved that the following 2023 interfund transfer is hereby approved. $1,650 from Water Quality Improvement Projects to the Community Preservation Fund for monies owed for the 2019 audit. $1,650 from the Water Quality Improvement Projects to the Community Preservation Fund for monies owed for 2020 audit, and $6,375 from the Water Quality Improvement Projects to the Community Preservation Fund for monies owed for the 2021 audit for a total sum of $9,675. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to expend the sum of $2,184 from the A3120.491 PD contracts account to Village Solutions for an annual subscription renewal fee, and $2,815 from the A3120.491 PD contracts account at Scene LLC for the annual subscription renewal fund. So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Be it resolved that 2023 general claims numbered 825 through 964 in the amount of $112,095.27, 2023 highway claims numbered 90 through 103 in the amount of $61,928.62 are hereby approved for payment as audited, and the supervisor and/or any town board member is hereby authorized and directed to sign the approval for payment of same. So moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. We will now recess the meeting, and
Perfect timing.
I was going to
Yeah,
say 6:10,
wow.
perfect. And we will open the.
Doesn't often happen.
I know. Last time I think we had to sit here for a little bit. We will open the public hearing on William Herzog's mooring application. Amber, if you could read the notice.
On the application of William Herzog, 5 Hillside Drive, for permission to install a mooring at a location designated as latitude 41.06627 degrees north and longitude 7236 325 West.
Yes.
And a report from WMAC?
Sure, the WMAC met on May 1st, and the coordinates did not quite match the proposed location. The WMAC adjusted the location to the grid coordinates 41.066066 north and 72363533 west, and approved the application. Yes.
We will open the hearing for anyone who wants to speak on this application. I don't see anyone in the audience on Zoom. All right, there being no one, we will close that hearing. First, we have 1 minute. We're going to be absolutely perfect. Easy peasy.
Following that timeline.
Okay, we will now open the public hearing on James Royer's dredging application. Amber?
On the application of James Royer, 36 Peconic Avenue, for permission to perform a maintenance dredge as per DEC permit number 1-473-2-00187/00024, to dredge entrance to existing boat basin to a depth of -4 feet mean low water, place approximately 150 cubic yards of dredge spoil at the bulkhead landward of apparent high water, and approximately 260 cubic yards of dredge spoil upland.
Thank you.
A report from WMAC, I think.
Lots of
PJ.
it, BJ. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say PJ this time.
The WMAC discussed this yesterday, but a few members noted that it appeared that the work had already occurred, which means it occurred without the requisite town permit.
Okay.
So we probably should adjourn this
Yes, did they,
hearing. Or
did they-
is the
did they
applicant
approve-
here?
Did they approve
Roya?
it?
No, Royers are not here because I would recognize them. I will say
They
though,
did vote in favor.
I have an application, I have the actual application in front of me. I don't know if they had it last night.
Yes, they did.
It was dated April 2nd,
Mhm.
2023? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so since the applicant is not here to speak to that, the information and belief that we have that the work has already been completed without a permit, we will adjourn that meeting until we can speak to the applicant. I guess before we adjourn it, do we want to open the hearing to anybody who is here to speak on that?
Well, you should open it and then adjourn.
Yes, I was going to say, so I'm opening it to the public.
Anybody want to speak on that?
No one in the room, anyone on Zoom? All right, so now we,
Just out of one question, has the Royers been notified about any of this? And I know it only occurred yesterday, but,
No, I just found out this morning.
okay, all right.
No,
Okay.
it only occurred last night.
yes.
Yeah, if I had more time in between meetings, I would have called them and asked them to do an appearance, but,
Yeah. All right.
No, we're in no rush.
yeah, all right, okay.
Right.
It's, well, it was publicly noticed.
I was noticing, and I sent them a letter to them.
All right, so that one is adjourned, so we will open the public hearing on proposed local law entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 33 entitled Assemblies Outdoor. Amber?
On a proposed local law entitled A Local Law Amending Chapter 33 entitled Assemblies Outdoor, to clarify when an outdoor assembly permit is required.
Do we have anyone at the table who'd like to speak to this first, to describe it for the public?
So I worked on this with Chief and Stephen. It's really a clarification of the existing code. The way it was originally written was kind of confusing as to when you did need a permit and when you didn't need a permit. And this also adds the criteria for requesting a noise exemption. So if someone's going to have an event and they want a noise exemption, now that's included in the outdoor assembly application. Whereas before, there was no formal way to request a noise exemption. So that's really the only change to the outdoor assembly code. It's just a kind of clarification by bulleting everything, so you can really go through and say, yes, this triggers my permit, or no. And then adding in the option to request a noise exemption. And the requirements for a noise exemption, being that it has to be a charitable event and things of that nature. So that's really the extent of it.
Yeah. We'll open this up to the public for anyone who wishes to speak.
Yes,
If you could come up to the podium, please, and state your name.
I'm Bob Harris, Robert Harris from Silver Beach. I'm also Vice Commodore of the Bonanza Yacht Club, the little sunfish sailing fleet that everybody probably knows about. I'm just curious, are we going to need a permit or an exemption, or can we continue sailing? We've been doing this for 90 years.
Sure.
Are we all set to go? Do we need anything? No?
No, I think because the intention is for like larger organized fundraising events to
Okay.
require permits. I don't necessarily know that you would require one. Stephen, what do you think?
Yeah, if you look at the purpose of chapter 33, outdoor assemblies, it says the town board seeks to regulate those listed organized events which attract a large number of people and might adversely affect the well-being of town residents. This isn't the case.
Okay, so we're all set.
Yeah, it's a
Thank you.
small, it's a very small confined area of water in West Neck Bay,
Right.
and I look forward to hearing the horn go on and taking the pictures.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Continued good sailing.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the room that wishes to speak? And is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to? All right, seeing no one, we will close that public hearing. And we will now reconvene the hearing on Liberty Lawn Care, 17 North Ferry Road. It's a special permit, or that's site plan review application, right?
Site plan.
Site plan.
Do we want to read first, or would we want?
Well, I was going to say, it's a reconvene, and we have adjourned it at the request of the applicants, because they weren't able to be present at the last public hearing. So we usually don't reread the,
No, not the notice, I meant with the CAC.
The report.
oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, because that's not on here. So, yeah, if you have the CAC report, then we'll go to planning board.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to March 13th, so it's about 3 months old. They voted 5-0 in favor of the applicant. They had 2 recommendations that were noted on here. I think Mr. Sherman was represented. I don't think he heard these, but 1A was the survey dated 1/23/2020 and updated on September 7th, 2022, should indicate the present condition of the site. And they were looking to update that site. The site plan shows a 1-story frame house that has been demolished and the septic tank. It should indicate the present condition and not show the old house. That was what they were saying, just get rid of the house off that survey. The second one was submit a certificate of abandonment of the septic, which is something that they had asked for. And the last one, which was number 2 here, is the proposed site plan C1 dated March 24th, 2022, conflicts with a special permit application, paragraph E. There are no evergreens indicated, just a stockade fence. Matt Sherman will clarify that. That's basically what the report says.
Okay. Do you want me to address those now?
Before we get to that, we'll get to the planning board report and then.
So the recommendations from the planning board are as follows. The use and structure are commensurate with B zoning and adjacent businesses. They hope a little more attention will go into how it will present to travelers on 114 so that it's not viewed as another industrial structure of the main artery. With this above considerations, they recommend approval of the site plan review application. They did have some other notes. They were requesting that there only be 1 entry and exit, so 1 curb cut instead of 2. I do know you have long trucks, so you kind of need to do the horseshoe to get in and out. I don't know if that's complication. And then they requested evergreens along with the stockade fencing.
That's fine. Now, Walter, if you just state your name for the record.
Walter Richards, Liberty Lawn and Landscape. And would you like me to present or try to address all those if I can remember?
Probably present and then,
Okay, then we can review.
Yeah, you might even cover them.
What I have is very brief. First, I'd like to thank you for the adjournment or the postponement. I thought my son was on spring break, but he's a senior at SUNY Cobleskill, and he is studying landscape contracting design, horticulture. So he's an integral part of it, and I want him to be here for tonight. I'm going to let him speak in a minute. But basically what we're trying to do is take our business, which has been in business since I was about 17, so about 30 years, and move it to one central location. Currently, we're spread out. I was finally able to purchase a piece of business property, and we want to move it to one central location. So everything is neat, organized, and we can use our equipment and the property the way I think it was intended to be used. I don't think that the interior is necessarily something that, is up for review, but I'd like to introduce my son again, just to tell you about the interior, because I think it lends to the feel of our entire operation.
Hi, everyone, I'm Walter Richards Jr. And I'm going to talk about the interior of the building. So the interior, or I should start with, we kind of run our whole company as a big group. So every day we come together twice a day, once in the morning and once for lunch, and eat lunch together and kind of talk about what everyone's doing. So the interior of the building is going to help provide a space for us to do that, being that the front of the building is going to be used as a big break room for our employees to come and meet and talk and obviously eat lunch together. And then also upstairs of that front area will be 2 offices along with a shower, a bathroom, and a washer and dryer to allow our employees to use the bathroom. If someone wants to shower, they can shower and clean their clothes or something happened. So yeah. And then also on the exterior of the building, there will be areas for parking for their vehicles along with our work vehicles.
A couple of notes that I had. We are not seeking any relief from the town for any setback issues, for any relief whatsoever. I believe that it does fit the general use in the area. There's to the north is a storage facility. There is a residence to the east. On the other side of that residence is an industrial site. To the rear would be residences on Smith Street, but they are separated by a woodland buffer. And then to the west is another landscaping operation. So I think it fits the general character pretty well of the neighborhood. In regards to the curb cut, we already have the permit for it. And I believe the answer to that question, since it came up, is that the state requires an entrance and an ingress and an egress, or an entrance and an exit. I would have preferred to have one and push the building to the side, but I don't think they allowed it. So Matt engineered that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they required. So that's where we're at with that. In regards to the evergreens and the fence, when we originally did this application, it was a while ago. And since then, there was a fence that was erected on West Neck Road. And I'm seeking a change in materials used to do our stockade fence. Stockade fence, typically I have one at a property that I own at 22 East Thomas Street. The boards fall off, they fall down, they sag. But if you look at a house on West Neck Road, Ron Adler, he put in an I-beam system with 6x6s. I think that would look really, really nice. Would do a better job and it would hold up over time better. So I think that might help with the evergreen screening. The problem with the evergreen screening is that the property is so small, and since we have the ingress, the entrance and exit, that's going to now decrease that by, 5, probably 10 feet for mature trees, and almost make it impossible to limit more parking. So I think if we can utilize the fence in a good way, I think that would suffice that need for evergreens. The other challenging thing about it is, it's not challenging, but all of our drainage is engineered. Not a drop of water will leave the property. It will have a 2% grade from the road, 2% grade from the back to a central point where our drainage will all be installed. And that can also sometimes make it challenging with the fence. I want the fence to be able to look level. So I think that the I-beam system might work well as we can step it a little bit to stay within the 6-foot height restriction that the town has. Finally, we also would like to change the materials in regards to the building. When I started this application, Shirk Buildings were the ones that I got the plans from. Shirk is reluctant to build here anymore. I don't know if they're going through some company changes, so I may have to shift to a different builder, which would most likely be Morton. Same type of building, but I want to do a full foundation because I'd like to face the foundation in brick or stone. And then have a green metal facade come up, tan after that, green on the roof to match our building at 22 East Thomas Street. That building is probably built in the mid-90s, and it looks really, really good. So instead of having to deal with paint or stain and, have wooden siding, I think that the brick or the stone on the foundation will add to the character of the neighborhood. And also, since it has to be level and the ground has to pitch in order to get the water to go to our drainage, having that foundation buffer will allow us to do that rather than the posts and the metal that have to be on grade for the distance of 80 feet because the building is 60 by 80. So I think that in general, that would be a much better approach. So it's just basically a change of materials. It has nothing to do with the use or the size or the layout or anything like that. It's just a different material and a different construction, which I think is much better suited for the area.
Stop you a minute.
Yeah.
Where is the fence on West Neck? Give me a.
Going up the hill at the golf course, if you go up the hill.
Yeah, Ron Adler.
Before you.
Oh, just put in?
Yeah, just put in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously it's going to be a significant increase in cost, but I think in the long run, it's going to be so much better.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw a 6x6 retaining wall on the heights.
Yeah.
That was stained gray. And it really looked good. So we stain it gray, you have your steel posts, somebody accidentally backs into it, it's not a panel that's going to be down for,
Correct.
3 weeks while we're waiting to fix it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
That's great.
The other good thing about the use and fitting into the character or how it's going to look on the main thoroughfare, the building is right to the setback in the front because I only want, my parking or, certain people that may need to come to the building. I don't do much, as far as showing client things. There's minimal parking in the front. All the parking will be to the rear of the building and a little bit down the side. So you won't have to see that from the road. You just see this nice building from the road. And I also want to, the things that I don't like so much about the prefab buildings is the windows. I would like to upgrade those to a really nice casement window so it had a nice presentation from the road. Yeah, and that's really all I have, other than it's just going to be used for the interior for what my son presented. He didn't mention the back of the building is obviously a huge storage area for us to work on our equipment, keep our equipment out of the weather, get it inside. And
I wanted to ask about, you'll have heating, right? Because you have plumbing. And storage of chemicals, and where's the oil tank or propane tank going? I think one of the committees asked. So I just wanted to know.
that's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
First of all, there'll be an IA system in the back.
Yeah.
That Sherman is applying for now. And I haven't thought about the location of the propane tank and how I will fit that into the property, but that's a good point. I'd like to use propane as a source of fuel.
Yeah.
I imagine, unless I could put a oil tank on the inside somewhere, put a raw tank on the inside and have a fill going to the outside, but that is not in here and I did not think about that. That's a good point.
All right.
So.
Just do it safely.
And the equipment that's going to be stored in the back area is going to be uncovered, or you're planning on some sort of?
So what we'll have in the back is trucks and trailers. And then on the inside of the building will be equipment that does not get housed in those trucks and trailers. And obviously repair bay for repairing equipment. And then there's a small storage room in there also for all sorts of hand tools that we'll have all on the shelves, all labeled. So when guys come and go, they can take the right tools and put them back.
In the right spots, by the way.
Correct. That's the vision.
You
Outline them with the Sharpie, I heard that helps.
That's it.
You also have parking spots, parking stalls marked in the back. Are they going right up to the property line?
So it depends on the layout with the trailers. I want those to go down the side, and then I was thinking the employees could park along the back or possibly down the sides. I wanted to put as many parking spaces on there as I could, that would reasonably fit. But the idea is that we get most of the vehicles behind, possibly some on the sides for the employees to park because their cars will be out of the way of the truck traffic in the back, turning and backing. I think it'll be fine when they walk down the side.
And in the back, you said there is that woodland buffer, right?
There is a woodland buffer between us and the neighbor now, yeah.
In the back, but not on the side?
No, the sides are wide open.
And energy conservation, this is an insulated building. This,
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
it'll be
We're
a
gonna-
new boiler or whatever you
Yes,
decide on.
we're going to go with steel on the inside too,
Yeah.
insulation and steel on the inside, so the whole building will be
Does
insulated.
it come panelized? Is it giant panels? No.
No, it's a regular wood frame construction building with steel on the outside, steel on the inside, sandwiched in between is insulation.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know offhand what the R value is?
It's in here. It's in here, I don't know what it is, but it's in here, I read it the other day, so.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Stephen, you?
Yeah, do you have signage?
I don't know the answer to that. I can or I can't. I've been doing this for 30 years, like I said, and I've never advertised once. So I don't really see the need for a sign unless the town requires it. I don't.
You would probably have to come back and amend your site plan if you're gonna want a sign,
Okay,
all right?
yep, not interested in a sign.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you have no rendition of the building of what it's gonna look like? Again, I see it on the site plan, but you discussed that it's a new building and you have a different color scheme in mind. And do you have a mock-up of that?
I do not. I I could try to get one for you, but I mean, the one that is on here is pretty close, minus the colors, very close minus the colors. It's exactly what it's gonna look like minus the colors.
Yeah, but I think what's gonna colors.
I can verbally tell you that the roof is gonna be green, sides will be tan, and then the strip on the bottom, the 4 foot on the bottom will be green, and then any exposed foundation will have a face of brick or stone.
And are you planning on any landscaping in front of the building, like?
So there will be an island in the front because you'll have the exit and entry on either side.
Yep.
So there will have to be something in the front, which currently now is a privet hedge, which is providing some screening. Would I choose to put some plants in there? Yes, I will definitely not do any turf grass there because there's no water and it'll just turn brown.
And he's a landscaper.
No.
You know, I want it to look nice. I mean, the bottom line is I want it to look really nice when you come down the road and that. And to be honest with you, that was part of the building material change. When walking home from school, we drove around and looked, and we just weren't sold on the plain siding. I wanted to do something that was a little bit nicer than just over time.
So it's got a green roof and the walls are
Tan,
That's what I thought.
We're assuming forest green,
yes,
not lime.
that's right, yep. Mhm.
The hot lime tree?
We'll request a new picture, updated pictures.
Now, I would recommend, because again, you're having this nice building, nice fence, nice land, people are like, wow, at some point you would want signage. So is it something that Matt can put together quickly to include on, and when and if you want it, at least you don't have to come back here. You don't know which board it's gonna be, so you may want put either a freestanding or a sign on the building for future purposes.
Yeah, the sign would go on the building because I do not want to block traffic with it. That's one of my pet peeves with
I really
signage.
don't think you're gonna do it,
Okay.
you know?
Then come back.
Okay.
Yeah. Small ask at that point.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak on this hearing? Okay, how about on the Zoom audience?
Don't see any hands.
Yeah,
You have a.
Oh, Pam?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I just have a question are you going to go through the 14 points of 1093 that are part of the site plan review in the review of this project?
We won't be doing that today because this is the public hearing. So when we take it back to a work session, probably in 2 Tuesdays from now, then that will be part of our review process.
Okay, it didn't need to be done before the special permit public
There's no
hearing?
s-
I thought it needed to go, that goes before the special permit hearing that we're having tonight. It's just a question of process. It has no, I have no complaints over what the gentlemen want to do by any means, but I'm just.
It's-
question of process.
Pam, it was erroneously entitled a special permit. It's a site plan application. I know you're referencing 109-3, which has the 14 factors. Obviously, some of the questions and the application already addressed most of these. So the town board can, utilize what was learned at this hearing and the submission from the planning board, the CAC, and take that into account in their decision. If they feel like something hasn't been addressed, they always have the opportunity to reopen the hearing, but like, these questions have been pretty much addressed.
So the town board will go through the 14 points at a town board work session after this public hearing is closed.
We will consider them. I never want to make a promise that we're going to go point by point, but I will read through it and consider that, as sure the rest of the board will as well.
Okay, it was just, it's really just a question because the building inspector mentioned it in his denial letter, and I'm trying to understand the process of site plan review and when the town board actually goes through the 14 points and when they do not.
Again, they're going to take those into account when they make a decision. That's all they have to do is consider them, take them into account. And like I said, the applicant did a great job in presenting and addressed most of the points as did the planning board memo and the CAC.
Okay, thanks very much.
Anyone else? Okay. I think, so, Stephen, if we're requesting information from the applicant, a picture of what the building would look like, and then we're skipping signage. And then I was thinking, so can we close it, allowing for written correspondence from the applicant as well as the public until June 14th, a week from tomorrow?
Yep.
And then we'll put this on our work session agenda for the 20th.
I'd recommend he also include what type of fuel he's going to utilize and where the tank is going to be located as well.
Okay, yes, that's good. Tank location, okay. And then, since you did say propane, but just specifically stated. Okay, all right, so we will close that public hearing, except for written correspondence.
That gets submitted to who? Amber?
Yes, town clerk.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Do we have to vote when we close? I'm forgetting my procedures.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Motion to close.
motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Subject to written receipt, written comment.
Yes, subject to written, yes,
20th?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we will reconvene the regular meeting. We have 2 resolutions, I believe. Yes, William Herzog.
Whereas William Herzog, 5 Hillside Drive, has petitioned the town of Shelter Island for permission to install a mooring in a location designated as latitude 41.006627 north and longitude 72.36325 west. And whereas a public hearing was duly held on the 6th day of June 2023 for all interested persons to be heard in favor of or in opposition, now therefore be it resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to issue a permit for the aforementioned installation at a location designated as at latitude 41.06666 north and longitude 72.363.533 west per WMAC recommendation. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Whereas,
There you go. On record.
It's nice to be cheered. And not cheered.
whereas the public hearing was held on Tuesday, June 6th, 2023, to hear any and all persons either for or against a local law entitled, a local law amending Chapter 33, entitled Assemblies Outdoor, to clarify when an outdoor assembly permit is required, of which provides as follows. The legislative intent is that the town board finds that the section of town code pertaining to whether an outdoor assembly permit is required is vague and requires clarification to prevent confusion and clearly enumerate what events trigger the need for the same. And so, clarification there. And I should do the severability, right?
Yeah, I think you explained it pretty well with the changes.
I mean, it's really just bulleting the requirements so that it's very easy for people to understand.
Yes.
If any section or subsection, paragraph, clause, or phrase in the provision of this law shall be adjudged to invalid or held unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, any judgment made thereby shall not affect the validity, oh my goodness, of this law as a whole or any part thereof other than the part provisions so adjudged to be invalid or unconstitutional. The effective date, this local law shall take effect upon the filing with Secretary of State pursuant to municipal home rule law. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, we will now open the meeting for any public comment.
Anything from the audience?
I was going to say, it doesn't look like the audience.
No?
Anyone on
Okay.
Zoom? I will entertain a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Great
Thank
job.
you,